Hey everybody, MTG Noob here, bringing you another draft. This pack is not really amazing. As you can see, my rare kinda stinks. I have the option of possibly trying to go for a millish kind of deck, but I think I'm just going to take the pretty sweet removal spell in Tragic Slip. I don't think anything is going to come back for me. Um, it's a debate between the Tragic Slip and the Tracker's Instinct. So, I don't know. I mean, if we try to force the graveyard plan early and it doesn't work, then we're kind of screwed. And if we take the solid removal spell, then we're also looking pretty good and won't most likely won't get screwed. But I don't know. I have a feeling to take this. Um, all right. Let's just be smart and take the tragic slip. If more graveyard stuff comes, maybe we'll jump on the bandwagon. Okay, we're looking, and we're not seeing much. So now we can easily get away from our first pick if we wanted to. There's not much going on. I mean, there's the rare, which would be decent in a curse style deck, which I haven't really seen too many of them. Because mostly limited's based on creatures. Griptide's decent. If I want to go like beat down aggro, the Hermit's okay. I don't really see anything I like. Undying Evil's okay, but that's me trying to force black. I think this is a good card, and maybe we'll end up with a deck where it could be used. I don't know if it's worthy of a second pick, but we're gonna try it. Okay, this card is getting some play in block. As you can see, there's a lot of white cards that are good here. This card's actually supposedly really good as well. I mean, it costs a ton to equip, but if you look at the second part, it just destroys most werewolf creatures. There's also some green. White is clearly open at this point. This must have been a pretty deep pack. I'm going to just take the other tragic slip. The quiver seems really good, though. I don't know. I'm going to try just stick with the tragic slip. Okay, we get it past another Undying Evil. Not much else going on. Some blue cards. I'll just take the Rack with Madness, although I don't really like it that much. It's decent. Okay. This pack must have been very nuts. I'll take a Zombie Apocalypse. It must not be that amazing and limited because there's like tons of different creature types. But we're going to just snatch it up and see what happens. There's a lot of white open. I'm getting a lot of white signals, so I probably should be taking white or considering it. But being that I passed a lot of white, it might not be wise to just jump right into it now. If you look at our draft so far, we have an awesome draft going. We have, you know, no creatures, but we have some removal, a little accelerant, and mass removal, sort of. Okay. What the hell is going on in this draft? I kind of wish I was in white now. I mean, look at all this white. It's clear that white is open. I'm trying to force the black. I'm trying to be a good neighbor and pass the good white stuff. But geez, man, the guy on my left is getting one hell of a deck that I'm not getting. And this guy's good, but I don't think we can make him good just yet. We're not very aggressive. We can just kind of force the black still. But there's so much white. Screw it. We're going to start taking white cards. Of course, now they'll be none. It's so obvious. Alright, Burden of Guilt is good. We'll snatch that up. You can only ignore signals for so long. So We passed up three probably solid white picks, but we'll see if we get on in time to get a nutty white deck. It's not really good to switch so late in the game, but it might be worth it. Okay, we have an interesting pick here. We can take the Chosen of Markov with no real vampires or the Evolving Wilds. We can probably get more vampires later on in the next two packs, but you can't get a lot of Evolving Wilds. So I'm gonna take the Evolving Wilds, especially if I'm playing, white and black, which really aren't great colors. Okay, I haven't seen how this card works. Alpha Brawl, you need 8 mana. I'll just take the Midnight Guard and see what happens. Okay, Break of Day is pretty sweet. I don't know if we're cemented in black yet. I'll just take a Torch Fiend. We'll see what happens. This is possibly good in a very aggro deck. I don't think we'd be playing it. So let's just take another Torch Fiend in case we want to go like red, green beatdown. Okay, the white obviously started getting snatched up. Take a Hood here. Take a Grave Purge. And we'll take a Plains. Okay, so our first pack started pretty good with 2 Tragic Slips. We could have had 2 Intimidators instead of white cards, but I don't think they were that amazing. I could be wrong though. We didn't see much in those packs, so maybe I didn't read the signals very correctly. Alright, Sever the Bloodline's really good. So is Slayer of the Wicked. I haven't really decided what I'm going to be playing quite yet. There's also a lot of good red cards. It seems like everything's pretty open at the moment. Slayer's really good. I don't know if I'm 100% white yet. But I don't really want to pass Sever. If I take the Slayer, I have to basically play the white. All right, let's. Slayer doesn't really do it. You know what? Let's take the Sever and see what happens. Slayer's really good there. See, this is why I don't draft professionally, because not great at it. Okay, we'll gladly take another Sever. So now we have 2 Severs, 2 Tragic Slips. Alright, we're going to try to at least cement ourselves in black, because our black removal is really ridiculous. At least this early on. Okay, we start to need to excuse me, get a bunch of creatures, because if we don't have any creatures, having a ton of removal doesn't really do anything. Okay, so if I want to stay white, I can take Sentry. If I want to pick up on this red signal, I would take the Cultist. If I want to, there's no real black. If I wanted to jump blue, blue's open. I could also take a Geist Flame. I think I'm set on removal for now. I think I'm going to keep, like, I think the white is a little bit stronger than the red at the moment, but the red signal seems to be coming more, so I'm just going to take the red card. Right, nothing really major. Blue is clearly open at this point, but I don't want to jump ship to blue. This guy's okay. None of these picks are amazing. I think I'm just going to snatch up a Goliath, just in case we want to go blue. We're not cemented into anything, but now we're starting... Oh, geez, what a pack. Jeez. Now we're starting to become cemented into another color. I'll take the Brimstone Volley here. And we will take a Pitchburn Devils since it's better than anything else. And we're not going to be playing, I believe, the white or the blue. Nothing really in this pack. I'm not a big fan of this. I don't think we're going to pay 5 for that. I guess we'll take a 5-drop Vampire. There's nothing else we really want to hate out. So we'll just take this Patrol in case we need it. And it seems like we're, trying to cement ourselves into red and black. Let me hide white. I want to make sure I have enough creatures. Okay, we have 5 creatures. I might have to take the Vampire here, even though Geist Flame is great, and Bump in the Night is still acceptable. But I think, yeah, I think we got to take a creature. We have no win conditions. We can like remove a bunch of stuff, but we can't do much else. Alright, we'll take another one. And we'll gladly take a Typhoid Rats. Our deck is coming together. It's definitely not anything sexy yet. We kind of need to open some bombs. We have 8 creatures, and a lot of them aren't good. Alright, we'll consider this Night Terrors. I don't want to play a curse. I don't know, at the moment this deck is really not amazing. I mean, it has a ton of removal, which is great, but it has such subpar creatures. Like, we don't have a way to really win. So I'm kind of wishing I took those 2 Intimidate guys earlier on. I'm going to take the Alchemy in case I need to splash blue, which is very possible with a 6-drop in blue. Alright, we'll take the Full Moon's Rise. And we'll see. We'll take a Shovel. Okay, and we will see what we do in this last pack, because we are going to need a lot of help. Okay. And here we go for... Oh, that's some help. We have a lot of good cards that we might end up getting something back. I think I'm just going to take the Vampire. The Bat's nice. Hemlor's nice, but the Vampire is pretty good. I open this guy a lot. I don't love him, but he's okay. Alright, that's also helpful. We do have a lot of ways to remove stuff. We might want an earlier zombie, but I think we're just going to take the 5-drop and try to win with 4 power guys towards the end of the game while controlling everything early. Okay, making sure I hide the things I'm not going to be playing so we can see where our need really lies. Okay, I'll now have Evolving Wilds. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. 3 creatures. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 creatures at the moment. 11 if we play this guy. I don't think we're going to be playing this guy unless we open a lot of nice stuff. Alright, although it's removal, again, it's still really good removal, so we'll be taking that. Hiding the blue at the moment. So we're at 10 creatures, and most of them suck, but we have like tons of removal. Which, this is the style of draft I like to do. I like to play like a deck like this, but it also makes it difficult when you're getting like beaten down by creatures constantly and sitting there and not being able to really do anything about it gets a little bit frustrating. Like, for example, what do I mean? Like, okay, let's say he has a Doom Traveler, so now I gotta waste 2 removal spells on that. because I can't stop an early rush, or let's say, I have to use this on a 2-1 flyer or something like that, and give my opponent value. Okay, we're hoping right now we get past some really good creatures. Unburial Rites is an option. I think I'm just going to take another Pitchburn Devils. It's a little bit slow, especially against flyers, but I don't really have much of a choice. Unburial Rites I could play, but I'm not really trying to bring back any amazing creatures. Okay, there's nothing in this pack for us. We could take a Wolf, he's actually okay. All the other cards are not great. This is some decent flyers. I think I might take the Witchbane Orb. I think the Wolf might actually wheel, which means it might come back to me. It's really not that playable. Okay, we'll take a Ghoul here. We can also take a Night Revelers, but our 5-drops are like really stacked. There's a bunch of Chapel Geists. I think we're too cemented in black and red to really start to consider white again. Oh, okay, I'll just take up another awesome removal spell that shouldn't be here. Okay, and that's a good one. Our deck's not amazing, so any creatures we could get that are fairly cheap we'll take. Okay, so now we're up to 13 creatures, and this was the pack that I said we'd get something back, hopefully. We got a pretty good creature out of the deal. Okay, so it's coming together. It's not amazing, but it's coming together. Um, hmm. Harvest Pyre is really good, but Typhoid Rats is pretty good too. I just want to make sure. I think I'm going to take the Rats, believe it or not. I know you might think that's a crappy pick, but the fact is that I might actually play this too. I'll just take the Kindercatch. I might not be able to really use. Jeez, all these cards are good against me. I might be able to not use the Harvest Fire because I have so much removal that I have. There's the wolf that we were talking about, wheel. Um, I have so much removal that Harvest Fire is like mid-tier removal in this deck, and I don't want to end up having to force Harvest Fire into my deck where it could be really good since I have so much removal, but a Typhoid Rats is really good also because it blocks. And in this style of deck, we're trying to remove early threats. Like right now, I'd rather play 2 Typhoid Rats over a Ghoul. Like I'd rather play it because this comes in tapped, it has more power, but this takes down most big creatures and kind of just ends up sopping up the ground. Alright, so we don't have many black creatures. Put the Patrol in the mix at the moment, but we have a lot of decent black removal. Okay, and then we'll put in these Torch Fiends. We'll just put in everything we have. Definitely both Occultists and... Okay, so we're not going to... I'll put this in just because. So that's 16 creatures. We're not going to play all of them. We are going to play all this removal, though. Zombie Apocalypse possibly is a sideboard card. But right now our deck is 25 cards. So we need to definitely cut some stuff. Okay, the first and I'd say easiest cut is this. It's a 5-drop. I know I have 2 lords here. In a sense where they'll buff him up later on. But like I said, I don't think he's great in the deck, especially since I have a lot of 5-drops. And all the other 5-drops are better, so I'm going to cut him. And I think the Ridge Wolf is not amazing either. He's kind of like, I'll kill you, like eventually. It's really him versus the Ghoul. So, do I want something that's really amazing later on, or do I want something that can soak up damage and trade earlier? Because this guy isn't really trading too much. Okay, I don't know. Let's consider that. We also can't forget cards like Warden of the Wall, which helps us on defense and gets us to our later game cards. So that's a possibility. So if I play that, I don't think I'll want the wolf, and I don't think I want the ghoul. So this is probably what I would run at the moment. Zombie Apocalypse in this deck really isn't amazing because let's see, Devil, Spirit, Vampire, Human, Human, Vampire, Rat, Devil. So I think we're gonna actually throw this in the sideboard. I mean, of course, we'll run into the green-white deck that really needs it. It's rather, is this worth playing over an additional creature? Because it is like a one-sided wrath against some stuff, but I think there's so many decks that don't have humans that it might. I mean, against me, it really only hurts me with these two cards, but and nothing else. Um, I think it's a card that might need to be built around. Right now we're at 22, so we'll put in our land. See what they suggest. They say more red. I think we're going to go with the 8-8 split. And that allows us to add one more card to our deck. We're going to be playing 17 land. So basically we can have any of these cards. We could also play Witchbane Orb, but I don't really want to. Play any of these cards. Let me know what you think you would have played and why. We're at 13 creatures, which is, to me, is a little bit low. I'm not a big fan of the 13 creatures. Here's the 5 cards we could be playing. Could also be splashing, but there's not much to splash for. Like, there's no way I would splash for this with 13 creatures. Alright, so the Patrol, I think, although it's a vampire, it can go away. So that's easy. Night Terrors, I think, is more of a sideboard card, especially since, like, we'll be bumping into things that are hard to kill. We might want to bring that in, like a Planeswalker. The Ghoul is good for really early beats. He plays good defense, but we're going to cut him. So it's basically between, do we want another creature in the 3-drop spot that potentially can kill out of nowhere if I have enough red mana. He gets pretty big. Or do we want a one-sided wrath against the human decks, which we might play against? I think having an extra creature would be nice, but I think just straight up having one-sided removal against, some human decks would be really good as well. So let's just make sure the suggestion of land is correct now. Let's remove all these lands. It always happens. I always end up trying to remove and grabbing my 1-drops. Okay. Almost there. Almost there. Alright, let's move this up over here. And let's add land, see what they suggest. Yeah, 8-9. So, with our Evolving Wilds, which, may not be amazing in this deck, but I think getting triple black, double red might be a little challenging. I think it's worth it. Okay, so that's our 40-card deck. Let's hope we play better than previously been playing, and thanks for watching, and I'll upload this video, and please subscribe.